Hello again, Metas, and welcome back to another new weapon build. The 2.1.4 update brought us some new weapons to play with, and taking the limelight today is the SKS Pathfinder sniper rifle. So what does the SKS do exactly? Well, Frost Vortex triggers as soon as you hit an enemy with a cooldown of 5 seconds that reduces with each hit after that. There's also a 60% chance to generate deviant particles with a max held of 10. Now, deviant particles, when picked up, will put us in a charging state. While in a charging state, the skill consumes deviant particles to fire a charged ice spike that pierces through enemies. It deals ice elemental damage equal to 110% of your attack and benefits from the Frost Vortex damage bonus. Ice elemental damage is increased by 30%, and each charged shot grants an additional 8% ice damage for 15 seconds. This bonus can stack up to 3 times for a total of 24% increased ice damage. So starting with our gear, we're going to be taking a 3-piece treacherous. Now, even though this will keep our sanity low, it will give us an increase in damage. We're going to pair that with a 2-piece saviour set. While we're shielded, we gain a plus 10% increase in our status and weapon damage. Now, the 2.1.4 update brought some new gear into the game as well. So our key piece for this build is the Snowdrift top. When we pick up a deviant particle, we gain an additional charge stack. To top it off, we gain a plus 25% in our status and weapon damage for 25 seconds. And with our secondary, we're going to be taking the DE50 Wildfire. We want to consistently proc bullseye for that plus 8% vulnerability. Now let's turn this into this. Okay, on to mods, starting with our gear. We're prioritising mods that will add to our elemental and status output, as well as our frost damage. Starting with our helmet, we're taking Deviation Expert. This gives us a plus 20% towards our status damage. Next is our mask, and we're taking Frost Construct. We gain a plus 10% damage increase to our ice constructs, and if the target is already in a Frost Vortex status, we gain an extra 10%. Then we have our chest, and we're taking Ardent Shield to counteract the lower sanity build. We gain a temporary shield when we call upon our deviant. Moving along to our bottoms, we're taking Elemental Resonance. Each instance of elemental damage dealt from the previous magazine, the next gains elemental damage plus 1% for 15 seconds, upon reloading up to 24%. Next, we're taking Rush Hour for our shoes. Every 10% HP loss grants plus 4% melee weapon and status damage. This synergizes well with the low sanity build. And the last of our gear, we're taking Status Enhancement for our gloves. We gain a plus 20% status damage. Next, let's look at our weapon mods. Starting with the Pathfinder, now we're taking Cryo Catalyst for this, and that's because our Frost Vortex damage gains a flat plus 10%. After we trigger a Frost Construct, we gain an extra plus 5% for 6 seconds. And for our secondary, we're taking Vulnerability Amplifier. We want to gain that plus 8% vulnerability and also keep the duration going for longer. Now let's move on to our Deviant. For all frost builds, there's 2 deviants that we can take, and that's the Snow Sprite and the Polar Jelly. Now, the Polar Jelly will give you higher damage output, but the Snow Sprite is the easier option, as it ain't locked in one place until you move it again. But if it doesn't bother you to consistently move the Polar Jelly, then definitely take it. Like all deviants, the higher the skill level, the better it plays, so try to get the best you can. Now let's see what our damage output is at the moment. Okay, so now we have the basics down. Let's take a look at our calibrations and our cradle slots. Starting with our calibrations. For our Pathfinder, you want to take Stabilized Style double elemental damage. The reason for this is the amount of stability we get makes firing the weapon a whole lot easier. For our secondary, we're taking Rapid Shot double weak spot, so we can proc bullseye a lot quicker. And as for our cradle slots, feel free to pause the video to copy what I've got. Now it's time for our food and drink buffs. Now, if you're not running a chef class, you want to be taking Mixed Fried Hot Dog. This gives us a flat plus 20% damage increase against enemies affected by bullseye. For your drink, you want to be taking Whimsical Drink. Whimsical Drink gives you a flat plus 25% status bonus. If you are like me and are taking the chef class, then this is where you have a choice to make. You can either take the surprise spring roll, which gives us a 6 to 20% elemental damage increase, which doubles when our HP is below 40% when made with the advanced gourmand mimetic, or if you prefer to have a flat plus 20% frost damage increase, then take canned minty meat. Okay, finally, the last piece of this puzzle, the Kukuri knife. When killing with a heavy attack with a Kukuri, we gain a plus 20% to our sight intensity. So the final damage output for the no chefs is this. And for my fellow chefs, and there you have it, my take on the Pathfinder sniper rifle. This new gun is meta-worthy, there's no doubt about it. It causes destruction wherever you go, and it really isn't like playing sniper at all. If you haven't already, give this new weapon a go. But on that note, this was my quick guide on the new weapon Pathfinder. If you're interested in the new bullseye weapon, make sure to head over to my channel. If you've enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please consider subscribing and liking. Thank you for your continued support, and stay safe out there, mates.